And to me, the person I think models this for us the most is the Apostle Peter. I love this guy because he's totally forever engaged in the moment. And the story that I think illustrates him doing this more than anything else is one night, the disciples, they were hanging out and with Jesus, and Jesus said, all right, I want you to go across the Sea of Galilee, and I'll come catch up with you later. So the disciples all get in a boat, and they head across the Sea of Galilee. It's the middle of the night. They're spooked. Then they see something that they've never ever seen before. They're fishermen. They spend a lot of time on the sea. They've never seen anybody walking to them on the sea before. So they all get scared. These 12 big burly men. They're all huddled up together. Like a bunch of middle school girls. Then Jesus is like, hey, chill out. It's me. Peter, I love this guy. He stands up. He's like, Lord, if that's really you, tell me to come out and walk on the water with you. Jesus is like, all right, come on. The Bible says Peter gets down out of the boat. That phrase is important because we tend to picture it like it's some little rowboat and Peter can just test it first, you know. Let's see how this works. No, the Bible says he gets down out of the boat. His eyes are on Jesus, and what happens? He's walking on water. As long as his eyes are on Jesus, he could do the things that Jesus was doing. As he is, so am I in this world. As long as your eyes are on Jesus, you can walk on water. As long as your eyes are on Jesus, you can do the things that Jesus does. As he is, so am I in this world. Peter is walking on water towards Jesus. But the progression of this story is so fascinating, and you and I can relate to it because all of a sudden, Peter begins to look around. The Bible says he notices the wind. He looks at himself and his own inadequacies, and I'm just guessing that he had this thought. What am I doing? I can't walk on water. He was completely right. In and of himself, he had no power to walk on water. The Bible says he gets his eyes off on himself and his impossibility of his circumstances. And then what happens? He becomes terrified. That's a progression for us, isn't it? We get our eyes off Jesus. We look at ourselves and the impossibility of our surroundings, and then we are terrified. And the next thing that happens, he begins to sink. This exact progression that happens in our life. We take our eyes off Jesus. We look at ourselves and our circumstances. We become terrified, and then we begin to sink. If you're here today and you're sinking, I want you to know you're among friends, because every single one of us has felt it, we've experienced it. But here's the beauty of this story. Peter cries out, Lord, save me! If you're here today and you're sinking, that's all you have to do. 3 words. Lord, save me. Doesn't come in complicated, wordy prayers. Lord, save me. Jesus comes over. I love this story. Jesus doesn't go, I'm not so sure. I think I'm going to let you sink a little bit and teach you a lesson, Peter. So don't worry, it's going to develop your character. I'm just going to let you just soak there a little bit. No, the Bible says immediately he grabs him and he saves him. Immediately. And I just pictured this in my mind, and they're standing there face to face on the water. Jesus has Peter's attention. And he says, Peter, you have such little faith. Now, I know this isn't in the Bible, but I like to fill in the blanks sometimes. I'm just imagining what Peter thought. What? Tell that to all the jokers still in the boat. I'm the only one that had enough guts to get out here, and I had it for the first 5 or 6 steps, Lord. Come on. You got to give me that. What do you mean I have such little faith? Talk to those fools. They told me I was crazy to get out here. Once again, that's the Pastor Brad version, I know. He says, why did you have such little faith? And then the next 4 words, why did you doubt